So Daredevil is one of my favorite comic book shows of all time. Actually, my favorite. I personally think it is, by a long shot, the best comic book show of all time. And I love it so much, I'm going to rank every single episode. Now, note, this is the Netflix Daredevil. I'm not going to rank Born Again, since it's kind of different, even though it is a continuation. But I'll just say it, the only two episodes that would make it on the list are Isle of Joy and Straight to Hell. And those two episodes would probably make it around the 8th spot on this list. Because I both think they're absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that's basically the consistency of this list. Even all the honorable mentions are basically fantastic, and if you said that one of them was in your top 10, I could agree. That's why they're an honorable mention. So, to start off, I will go in chronological order, but this is not in order how I like them, least to greatest, or whatever. So, starting off with honorable mentions is Cut Man. I really liked this episode and how we met Claire, and there's a great start after, the start of the season. Condemned is a very neat episode, our first showing of Fisk and Daredevil, and it's fantastic. Shadow in the Glass is a great backstory for Fisk, and I love it. Speak of the Devil is basically the 11th episode on this list. I actually was going to put it at number 9, then I swapped it out. You may say, well, how did it become 11? They're all interchangeable. Speak of the Devil and 10 and 9, in my opinion, are interchangeable. Next is Guilty as Sin. This is the Punisher trial episode, or the main episode, and it's amazing. Man in the Box is also amazing, with some Fist and Matt stuff. Bang is the start of the season. I know it's not in chronological order, but it's amazing. Start to a season. It's those first 4 episodes that were all spectacular, and sadly, season 2 couldn't keep it up. I do still think season 2 is amazing. Anyways, next is The Perfect Game. I think it was a great aftermath to Blindsided, and sort of the same idea, Aftermath. A fantastic aftermath to The Devil You Know. Upstairs Downstairs has one of my favorite scenes in the show with that Karen Karen confesses to killing Wesley in front of Kingpin. That's one of my favorite scenes in the show. Reunion is a great scene. I love how the whole stuff with Karen and Matt in the church, and how the FBI is hunting them down, basically. And yeah, Karen Page, or I think it's called Karen. The episode is amazing. I love how they have this whole episode to the backstory of Karen that I've been building up for by now about 3 seasons, but it was mainly set up, and I believe the second episode this season where she said that she was blamed for her brother's death. Anyways, to start off the list is the season 2 finale, A Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen. While I don't think the hand stuff was the best thing in Daredevil, actually I think it's the worst thing in Daredevil. By the fact that it's still great, that just shows how good Daredevil is. But anyways, this episode had a mixture of the hand and Punisher stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, this episode is such a good finale. The hand stuff was very cool. Elektra's death was, I guess, good, even though I don't think Elektra is the best character. I still think she's pretty good. Nobu is a good villain. And yeah, overall, the arc is my least favorite. It has a really fantastic finale. I'll give it a 9.8 out of 10. From here on, I think you could make a good argument that every episode could get a 10 out of 10. You can make a good argument that Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen gets a 10 out of 10. I just don't think so. Anyways, at number 9 is Revelations. It's after Matt finds out that his mother is actually the nun, Sister Maggie. Find out that she's actually his mother, and we find that whole backstory, and that's fantastic. And then we also get something equally fantastic in Ray Nadeem. In my opinion, one of the best parts of Season 3. He's an amazing character. And him finding out that basically Special Agent Hadley and all the FBI is basically just taken over by Fisk was one of my favorite scenes in the show. It's absolutely fantastic. That is just Season 3. It's an absolute masterpiece. And this is one of my favorite episodes from that season. not my favorite. There's like three more. Three more of them on the, nope, actually four more. I'm a liar. Four more of these on the list. Anyways, at number 8. Oh, also, sorry, that was a 9.9 out of 10. Number 8. You can argue, like I said, you can argue this is 10 out of 10. Penny and Dime. I love this episode, although I do think I will confuse some of the stuff that happens with New York's Finest. They're equal quality. It is fantastic. Like I said, the first 4 episodes are utterly amazing in Daredevil Season 2. And this is one of them. It's so good. All the Frank Castle stuff is generally amazing. And him and Matt, it's all great. I love it. But, yeah. Overall, it's amazing. But I have more to talk about with next one, New York's Finest. Yeah, it's something special. Let me just say that the rooftop scene is 10 out of 10. It's one of the best scenes in the show. It's one of the best scenes in any comic. It's one of the best scenes in any comic book show. It's arguably the best scene in the MCU. It's spectacular. I do think the I Beat You scene's better, but I'll get to that later. And what surprises that? You know, a new napkin's on this list. But anyways, New York's Finest is spectacular. Even if it was just for that scene, but even outside of it, it's still amazing. But that scene is just clearly the highlight. And in my opinion, I feel like the Mark and Cecil debate in Invincible, I know it was written earlier, but it's just a worse version of this. Like, to be honest, like, nothing. It's just so good. This is arguably a 10 out of 10 if you give it 10 out of 10. If you want to place it higher, these 2 episodes higher, that's fair. Maybe I just was not paying enough attention. At number 6 is the Season 1 finale. Daredevil just does finales well. And speaking of which, Daredevil is the episode name. I think this episode is perfect. Like, 10 out of 10 perfect. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's spectacular. I love the defeat of Fisk. I think everyone knows how good the Good Samaritan monologue is. It's arguably Fisk's best dialogue in the entire show. It's amazing. The whole, that's spectacular. The whole thing with Matt and all this, and him becoming Daredevil, him getting the suit, even though now looking at the Born Again one, which is miles better, yeah, the suit was pretty bad. Like, it's not the best suit, but it's still an amazing moment. Him defeating Fisk was so satisfying, and overall, I love this episode. It's a perfect conclusion to, in my opinion, a perfect season of television, even though I don't give every episode 10 out of 10. Anyways, at number 5 is The One Last Shot. It's an amazing penultimate episode saying everything up. Rainy Deem's death is amazing. And how that set up to Fisk's defeat and a new napkin. Him just going through testimony. I believe this was an episode where he tried to do testimony. Then this guy just walked in and named all the jury's address and like their kids and their stuff like that and blackmailed them. And like that was an amazing scene. Basically, this episode is just spectacular. It's perfection, in my opinion, just like Season 3. You can't tell I love Season 3. I think everyone does, even though I've heard it being called the most controversial season. I'm like, how? How do you not love it? But anyways. At number 4 is 7 Minutes in Heaven. Yeah, it's all because of that fight scene. There's one more episode on this list like that. Yeah, the Punisher stuff was amazing. That's really all I remember. That's the main thing I remember. It's spectacular. The Fisk and Punisher stuff and him getting to the guy who can tell him who killed his family was amazing. That fight scene was perfection. Not the best on this. Not the best, though. Not the best. I love good Punisher action. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is the whole reason why we got this show. Why we got the Punisher show is just to see him tear people down, and I love it. Overall, this episode is perfection. 10 out of 10. I know it's a hot take to have that your favorite episode of Season 2 and not New York's Finest, but that's my hot take. Next 3 are all, I wouldn't say interchangeable. I think number 1 is safely number 1, even though I've heard number 2 being number 1, but yeah, they're all from Season 3, and they're all perfection. The Devil You Know is amazing. Dex is one of the best MCU villains in my opinion, and he's one of the best parts of this season. And he just goes ham. His fight with Daredevil, I love it. It's amazing. I love Dex's way of fighting and how he throws anything and it will always hit them. He can make anything, literally ever, into a deadly object. I love that. And yeah, personally, this episode is perfection. I love the attack on the Bulletin. And like I said, the Aftermath episode is arguably, like, it's pretty close in quality, I would say. Like, both episodes are amazing. This episode is just more amazing to a point where it made on the list. Number 3, got a 10 out of 10 rating. I love it. At number 2, I actually just rewatched this episode, and it made it slightly higher than The Devil You Know. He's blindsided. Yes, we all know it's because of the 11-minute hallway fight scene. That's insane. Like, I maybe missed over this. I knew it had great fight scenes. I remembered that. But this good, like, I get how people call it revolutionary because of how well it did these one-shot fight scenes. They're some of the greatest fight scenes in anything I've ever seen. They're amazing. The 11-minute one-shot is insane. That's insane. I cannot believe they did that. Like, it is genuinely, I was awestruck when watching that. That is masterful. Even if the rest of the episode was bad, I would say that one moment brought up here. But the rest of the episode is fantastic. Even without that fight scene, it'd still be fantastic. The whole Matt going to prison and being Foggy Nelson, it was great. He had an interaction with Fisk. The whole Foggy running for mayor is great. Karen is losing it, and that's great. Well, not for Karen, but great writing and stuff like that. This is fantastic. Has one of the best scenes in the show, too. Or fight scenes. Anyways. I love this episode. Also, I forgot to mention the really great fight scene in New York's Finest, but whatever. 10 out of 10. At number 1 is what you all knew and suspected, a new napkin. Basic? Maybe. Fantastic? Or I'm talking about basic, the choice, not the episode. This episode is so good. Honestly, it has gone past 10 out of 10. It's 11 out of 10. It is 11. I think the I Beat You scene is possibly the greatest scene in any comic book show ever. That's what I will say. It is fantastic. I know, sure, Born Again does weaken that scene. I don't think it weakens it. Sure, it undoes it, but I won't blame Born Again on that. I blame Hawkeye and Echo on that. I actually mainly blame Echo on that, but because Hawkeye, they thought it wasn't going to be, in the MCU. They thought those weren't going to correlate. But whatever. Dex, that whole stuff is amazing. Vanessa is great. Honestly, I really like how they made Vanessa a good character. How they used Ray Nadim's, dying declaration to take him down was amazing. This episode, I don't know a single problem with this episode. Also the Father Lanton, sorry, I don't know. His funeral scene with Matt's speech was fantastic. This episode is perfection, and it perfectly ended in my opinion, perfect show and masterpiece of a season. So yeah. If you have not seen Daredevil, see it right now. It may be 36 hours, not 36, maybe around 39 hours long. But watch it, okay? It's something special. It's the greatest comic book show of all time. And it's amazing. Yeah, I hold it in higher regard than Invincible, Loki. I haven't seen Penguin yet, but I don't even know how they would top this, personally. I seriously don't know how. Season 3 is one of the greatest seasons of television I've ever seen. And, yeah. Bye.